Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. His father and grandfather were Baptist ministers.
When he was a boy, Martin went to school for black children only. There were certain places he and his brother and sister could not go because of the color of his skin. He wanted black.
Many people listened to the powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said he had a dream. Martin grew up to become a Baptist minister like his father and grandfather. He was called the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.
Many people listened to the powerful words of Martin Luther King Jr. He said he had a dream, and his dream helped to change the history of our country.
Martin Luther King Jr. lived at a time when there was need for change. We will see how his dream helped bring about that change. Miss York's class is learning about Dr. King right now.
This month, we will celebrate the birthday of a great American. His name was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Why was he so great? What did he do? I've heard his name, but I don't know what he did.
Which one of you can tell us something about Martin Luther King Jr.?
My grandmother lives in Montgomery. That's in Alabama. And my grandmother went to his church. She said a long time ago there was a law in Alabama that black people had to sit at the back of city buses. If a bus were crowded, a black person had to give up their seat to a white person.
Who ever heard of a law like that? Besides, what does that have to do with Dr. Martin Luther King? James, that law was a bad one, and Martin Luther King Jr. set out to change it. It all started one day when a tired little black lady named Rosa Parks broke that unfair law.
All right, folks, let's get up. Lady, are you gonna move? Lady, if you don't give up your seat, I'll have to call the policeman out there. Go ahead and call him.
Lady, if the bus driver asked you to stand, why didn't you?
Do you think it's right that I should have to stand up for white folks?
I don't know, but the law is the law. I'll have to arrest you and take you down to jail for breaking the law.
This is not a just law, and we're protesting. We will not ride the city buses in Montgomery. We will walk. We will ride mules. We will drive wagons and share cars. We will not ride a bus until this law is changed. If you will protest courageously, and yet with dignity and Christian love, when the history books are written in the future, someone will have to pause and say that there's a great people, a black people, who had the courage to stand up for their rights, and we're going to do that.
Wow, what happened?
Martin Luther King and his people did not ride the Montgomery buses for a whole year.
Did they change the law?
Yes, James. The United States Supreme Court decided that people riding on buses could not be separated or segregated because of the color of their skin.
Then Martin Luther King won the victory for all people everywhere in the United States, didn't he?
Yes, it was the first of many victories, boys and girls. Dr. King became the voice of black people across the land.
Is that all he did? Just make it so people could sit down on buses?
My grandmother said he marched a lot.
What did he march for?
Martin Luther King was a peaceful man. He did not believe in violence. He thought marching was better than fighting. He led what were called freedom walks, or peaceful protest marches. He asked his followers to love their enemies.
Is that the way he got people to pay attention and listen?
Yes, Ida. His marches brought bad laws to the attention of people everywhere, including those people who made those laws.
My grandmother remembers when black people couldn't go to the movies where white people went, and they could only eat in a restaurant specifically for blacks.
That is what all the marching was about, Dina.
About eating places and movies?
James, it was about giving everyone the same rights. Was it right to have one set of rules for African Americans and one set of rules for white people? Remember the bus, all people should be treated the same and be able to stand, sit, or eat wherever they want.
Brothers, this is a peaceful freedom march. The people of our country will see us and hear our voices. They will know that we must have new laws that are the same for all people.
We will march to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. That is a good place to talk about equal rights and freedom.
Let's go. Sing out for freedom.
I have a dream that my 4 little children one day will live in a nation where they are not judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. When we allow freedom to ring from every town and every hamlet, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to hold hands and sing in the words of that old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, free at last.
Millions of people watched the Freedom March on their TV and heard the moving words of Martin Luther King.
My uncle was there. He held a sign that said, "We want to be first-class citizens." Grandma has a picture of him.
Americans knew it was time to make new laws. The next year, 1964, an act called the Civil Rights Act became a law. All people could go to parks, stadiums, and swimming pools, all restaurants, hotels, and they were all open to everyone, regardless of race of color.
By then, everyone knew how important Martin Luther King Jr. was, right, Miss York?
People from all around the world knew about him and how peacefully achieved ways to bring out change. Has anybody heard of the Nobel Peace Prize? It is a great honor to be named for this prize. Martin Luther King was the second black person and the youngest man to ever win that prize. In 1964, he was invited to Norway. The world watched as King Olaf V of Norway and many other famous people honored Dr. King. They said that he, more than anyone else, had done the most to promote world peace.
It makes me feel proud.
What was the prize? What did he win?
Dr. King was awarded the Nobel Peace Medal and $54,000.
That's a lot of money. What did he do with all that money?
He used it to help make his dream of freedom come true. For all people, Dr. King said, a man can overcome oppression and violence without restoring to violence. The Nobel Peace Prize is not a personal honor. It is a tribute to all the work of millions of gallant Negroes and white people.
He helped all Americans make our country even better. Didn't he, Miss York?
Yes, and then in 1968, Dr. King went to Memphis, Tennessee to help the garbage workers. He and some friends were standing on a balcony at his motel. Suddenly, the echo of a shot was heard, and Martin Luther King Jr. was killed by an assassin.
What a terrible thing to have happened to such a great man.
People all around the world mourned the death of Martin Luther King Jr. He died a young man, but his spirit and accomplishments live on today. In his 39 years, Dr. King changed Americans' thinking about human rights of all people.